Good evening and welcome to the Village of Tuckahoe Planning Board meeting. Today is March 18th. Nancy, please take roll.
Yes, Member McMullen. Here. Chairperson. Commissioner Suarez.
Present.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Present.
Commissioner Wolfson.
Present.
And Chairman Leo.
Present. This evening we have on our agenda 170 Marbledale Road, amended site plan, 173 Marbledale Road, it's a commercial kitchen, and then 70 Marbledale Road, which is site plan review. We also have the approval of the meeting minutes held on February 19th. So at this point, I'd like to make a motion to approve the meeting minutes held on February 19th. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Nancy, take roll.
Yes. Commissioner McMullen. In favor. Commissioner Suarez.
In favor.
Commissioner Carpenter.
Four. In favor, I'm sorry. I'm a little
Commissioner
confused.
Wolfson.
In favor.
And Chairman Leo.
In favor. Can you hear me? Okay, sorry. All right, so at this point, I'd like to call up 173 Marbledale Road.
Good evening, Louis Campana, architect, 7 Pondfield Road. So since our last hearing, there's been one thing that came up today during my discussion with Bill Williams, and it was one of the parking spots.
Right.
So we did make that change, and I do have a copy of it here if you'd like me to review it.
Sure.
Okay. Okay. You guys can see the drawings, or
No, it's white on our side, looking up at you.
should I move the board?
No, otherwise, we're only on one camera tonight, so it's a disadvantage. But go
Okay.
ahead. So are we talking about spot 13?
We're talking about what was spot 9.
Okay.
And
Adjacent to the pergola?
it's in between the silo and the pergola.
Can I just quickly see
There's
it?
an
Sorry.
exit. There's an exit door.
Correct, yeah. Okay.
So we wanted to move that out of the way so that we have a clear exit.
Okay.
We did move or added one spot next to the handicap parking spot with also the access aisle. And that's access aisle leads from the parking spot 10 to the sidewalk. I'll show that here.
So you moved there.
Yeah, we shifted it over.
Oh, so you reduced the,
Yeah, there's about 20 feet between the two parking spots there for the curb cut.
all right.
And that was it.
Okay, that makes sense. The access aisle, can that be reduced any further, or is that the maximum?
It's 8 feet. It could go down to 60.
Okay.
But it's 8 feet now. It can be reduced.
You might want to do that just to keep your opening a little lighter.
Yeah, that's fine.
And since our last meeting, we had, we sent your plan and your analysis to our consultant for traffic review and parking review. Did you receive a copy of their memo?
I did yesterday.
Okay. Do you have
Yes.
any questions on that?
No questions. It was pretty clear. But no questions here.
Right. So I think for the most part, since you are not in conflict with the existing businesses on Marbledale, our consultant finds that you should have adequate parking, during what we think your events will take place, which is typically Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. So and most of Marbledale, for the most part, is closed during after hours, when typically parties will be held. So they find that it shouldn't be an issue at this point. So they're in favor of your application. So at this point, does anyone from the board have any questions of this applicant? Anybody have any questions?
I'm all set.
Okay, so we still have the public meeting open. I'm gonna make a motion to reopen the public meeting. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Is anyone here this evening to speak on this application? Since there's no one here to speak on this application, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. You'd like to read a resolution?
Sure. Village of Tuckahoe Planning Board Resolution and Decision, location of project 173 Marbledale Road. Description of project. Applicant is seeking an amended site plan, adding a kitchen and constructing a pergola over part of its beer garden. Applicant/owner is Broken Bow Brewery. The following is the resolution and decision of the Planning Board of the Village of Tuckahoe, New York. The applicant, Broken Bow Brewery, has made application and has been approved by the Village of Tuckahoe Zoning Board to amend its special permit to include a kitchen and construct a pergola over the beer garden. The layout of the pergola and new beer garden will add an extra parking space in the already existing parking lot. Since the applicant received its approval from the zoning board for the kitchen and pergola over the new beer garden, this board is charged with reviewing the application to confirm the uses comply with the site plan regulations. The zoning board asked the board to pay particular attention to the parking of vehicles during the events that the zoning board limited to 11 per year. These events will include community events as well as weddings and birthday parties. This board has reviewed all aspects of the application and agrees with the zoning board's review and conditions it has imposed on the applicant. This board has referred the issue of parking during the special events to the village's planner, Noah Levine. Based on Mr. Levine's analysis and the applicant's assertion that the surrounding off-site parking is more than sufficient to handle the overflow parking from the special events, we will not impose any further conditions in this approval. Therefore, in applying the standards of Section 4, 8.8, and 7.1 of the zoning code, we find that the applicant has satisfied the requirements for site plan as imposed by the village's zoning code. Thus, the application for site plan is approved with the identical conditions as required by the zoning board.
Can I have a second, please?
Second.
Nancy, take roll.
Commissioner McMullen. In favor. Commissioner Suarez.
In favor.
Commissioner Carpenter.
In favor.
Commissioner Wolfson.
In favor.
And Chairman Leo.
In favor. Congratulations. I wish you all the luck in this new adventure of yours. Yeah, good luck with everything.
Thank you,
Start.
Board. Appreciate your time on this.
170 Marbledale? Can I have up 170 Marbledale?
Good evening, members of the board. Dave Barbuti, architect, 150 White Plains Road, Tarrytown, representing Automotive Upholstery. We're here tonight for modification to our site plan based on the design of the retaining wall that has been constructed. I brought color samples and also photographs of the plantings we propose, if I can bring them to you.
Of course. These are the same or?
No, so basically here's the overall.
Gotcha. And you selected those two. Okay.
And over here are copies of the big ornamental grasses. We're gonna mix and match, give it different color schemes, several of the ornamental grasses being the same. And pictures in the chat.
Wish I had ornamented glasses, okay. And these will be all on
These are on
top.
top of the wall.
Okay. So these will be at the bottom, those will be in the center, right?
So we actually was gonna mix and match. I was gonna put these along the edge
Right,
with some of that in between.
okay,
So that'll cascade down, so
Right.
you lose the look. And then we were gonna do a little bit of mix and match along the middle.
okay. Can you just put them on easel so that everyone at home can see them as well?
Sure.
And do you have the renderings up there?
Yes, I
Okay. you just point out where you're going to place those in plans so that I guess people get a sense of where?
Right. So along the top of the wall, as you can see, above the brown band, we're going to plant the ornamental grasses, and in between we'll have English ivy growing in the front of it to cascade down the wall, as kind of depicted on the rendering. Midway up the slope of the riprap, we're going to do a 3-foot trough, which we will make, it'll be topsoil, and then we'll plant these intermittently as we are proposing along the face of the wall.
Okay. And water will just be basically when it rains?
Excuse me?
And watering will be just when it rains, I'm assuming, right?
It'll be that, and, so in the beginning of the planting seasons, I'm sure he'll have to hose it down so they take, and as needed.
How are we going to do that? Such a high wall.
He can figure it out.
Okay. All right. Anyone have any questions of this applicant?
No.
Any questions? Okay. At this point, I make a motion to open the public hearing. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Anyone here to speak on this application this evening? Since there's no one here to speak on this application, I'll make a motion to close the public hearing. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
I'd like to read a resolution. Village of Tuckahoe, Planning Board Resolution, applicant owner Ron Ackerman. Location is 170 Marbledale Road, Tuckahoe, New York, Section 39, Block 3, Lot 4A. Description of the project is amend an existing site plan to change the finishing of the wall. The following is a resolution/decision of the Planning Board of the Village of Tuckahoe. Applicant has an approved site plan for a new retaining wall in the rear of the property. Applicant is seeking to amend his site plan to change the finish of the wall and to a portion of this parking lot, a portion of his parking lot to allow rental for a parking area to the adjacent building. This board is satisfied with the changes of the proposed finish as presented at the public hearing. We find that based on the work session and the presentations at the public hearing, that the applicant has met his burden as to 7-1 of the Village of Tuckahoe zoning code, and therefore the application is approved based on the following conditions. Applicant is to maintain the wall as presented, any chips, damages, or cracks to the painted surface. Any graffiti shall be removed and painted, and the painted scheme shall be repaired accordingly. Every representation of the applicant made in its application and presentation will be conditioned of disapproval. Any deviation from the representations made shall be a cause for the revocation of said approval. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
And Nancy, please take roll.
Yes, Commissioner McMullen. In favor. Commissioner Suarez.
In favor.
Commissioner Carpenter.
In favor.
Commissioner Wolfson.
In favor.
And Chairman Leo.
In favor. Let's get going. Let's get
Thank
this
you.
done.
Let's get the wall.
Take care, guys. No, I don't need those. Thank you.
So you want these back?
You want these back? I actually, leave these with the building department. Leave-
What I'll do is I'll scan them and email
Okay. Thank you. 70 Marbledale?
Oh, okay.
All right. Good evening again. Louis Campana, architect, 7 Pondfield Road.
So Louis, just if you could just move to the side.
Yes.
Yeah, it's a little,
Okay.
thank you.
I'm here to present Westchester Swim School, which would be located at 70 Marbledale Road in Tuckahoe. The site is situated at the southwest corner of Jackson Avenue and Marbledale Road. The site is an existing undeveloped lot, and it does have a steep slope to the east side, which is composed primarily of loose fill, outcroppings, and remnants of retaining wall. There's also an existing concrete retaining wall there, which will be removed and replaced with a new retaining wall, a bit taller. And that's being done to create space for parking and also for the structure itself. The structure will also be used as retainage. The building and also, well, I should say the building complies with all bulk and area regulations for the GC zone. And it's going to be a one-story building. It'll have a 25 by 50-foot pool. There are 2 office spaces, bathrooms, mechanical space, a pump room for the pool itself, and changing areas. Reception would be located up to the front of the building, and we have a viewing area for parents as well. Along the south side of the property, we have 8 spots. Those spots would be backing up to the neighboring property, which is Pause and Play, where they have a number of spots there as well. We have a 24-foot separation between parking spaces. Based on the previous work session earlier this month, we did reconfigure the parking area a bit. We took spot 12 and swung it over against the retaining wall as a parallel parking spot to open up the curb cut which exists on the north tip of the property. And that'd be for exit only. We're adding 1 curb cut along the east side of Marbledale Road, which would enter in a central location to the parking lot, okay, which would be serving another 12 spots. We did make some changes to the handicap access aisle and made it a minimum of 60 inches wide at its shortest dimension. And this area where the handicap parking spot is will be the accessible entrance. We do also have an exit along the south end of the property, which would have steps down to the sidewalk and then to the parking lot.
Only 1 handicap parking is required on this facility?
Yes. Behind the stairs on the south side of the building, we have an area with a 5-yard dumpster. And the equipment will be located on the back portion of the roof behind the solarium.
Where's the dumpster? I'm sorry. I don't see it.
So it's on the south side of the building,
Yeah.
which is on the right, just behind the landing and steps. It's not noted, but there's an area there for that. Yeah, we'll note it.
It's by spot 20?
That's correct, yes. Of course, yeah. So in the building, as previously discussed, we have the solarium here, 25 by 50-foot pool with total of 7 lanes. Behind that, we have an HVAC room, a pump room, utility room, and a bathroom off of the pool area and showering. A drying room, and then bathrooms servicing the viewing area. The way a pool facility is laid out is a circulation between dry space and wet space. So entering the pool area would be off of the reception and viewing area at double door. Brings you into the pool, you get wet, you shower off, and then you go into the drying room, which has changing stalls and a hair drying station and a retractable changing table for babies.
So can I ask a question just from a flow perspective, right? I understand the wet dry situation. So let's say it looks like when you come into the space, you're you have lockers and changing by the entrance behind the viewing seats,
Yes.
right? Then when you come out, I guess you bring your towel to the dry area. Is that how it works?
So,
No, so I'm trying to understand. So if I'm in my bathing suit, right, and I go into the pool,
yes,
I get wet, and I
Yes.
go into the dressing room or drying room, right?
right.
Do I bring my towel there before, or how does that work? Just curious.
You would probably bring it with you into the pool area and then proceed that, out to the drying area.
Okay.
Yeah.
You can see I've never gone to one of these pools. More of a beach guy.
So let's talk about the exterior. So along Marbledale Road, there is an eclectic group of architectural styles, mainly flat roof buildings. I think there's a total of 13 pitched roof buildings, which makes up about 33% of the streetscape. And here what we've done is paying homage a bit to the old stone, the quarry. We took the concept of an old stone mill, and we used that for the pool facility design. This would incorporate James Hardy board and batten siding in an iron gray, black powder coated aluminum windows. We have cedar shutters, surface mounted sliding shutters. And then the front entrance would be a black powder coated aluminum assembly with cedar doors. What we've done is, in order to ease the grade inside the parking lot, we lifted the building about 4 feet as to make the parking lot as level as possible. What that also does, it creates a safety barrier between the sidewalk and the parking area as well. On top of that, we have a guardrail with 306 stainless steel cable and powder coated aluminum balusters and graspable handrail.
Roof is proposed to be standing metal seam?
The roof is going to be standing seam aluminum. Yes.
Okay.
The next sheet here just shows the differential in grade between Marbledale Road and Jackson Avenue. And actually, I shouldn't say Jackson Avenue. It's the grade at the property line.
Is that the retaining wall in the back? Is that what you're showing?
That's the retaining wall.
So you're building them?
Yeah, yeah. So what's going to be visible is from the shorter gabled structure to the left of the main structure
Yeah,
to the corner of the property.
yeah.
And we're stepping it down relative to the grade.
Try to keep as low as possible.
Yeah. And was the whole point in,
Second?
that's the whole point in stepping it. We're going to,
You have the
proposing,
line of do you have the line of the roadway in relationship to your retaining wall by any chance?
the road, this is the property line, but I can do that. I could also,
Just to get to see where
Yeah.
where your retaining wall is in relation to the
yeah, that's fine. Yeah, we could do
to the
that.
roadway.
And then what I'm going to propose is the concrete will be formed with form liners.
Form liner?
Form liners, yeah. So it'll give it a texture for aesthetic purposes, not just a plain
Please.
concrete wall. This is the elevation facing north. This is where the main parking area is. You can see in profile, what we're doing is the roof that is in between the two gabled structures, that's actually going to stop just beyond the ridge. And then on top of that roof will house the mechanicals, which would also be screened from Jackson Avenue. And then the same goes for the south end of the building. Here you can see where that exit door is and the landing and steps. So just to the right of that landing, that's where we're going to have that dumpster. Yes.
course he is.
We could put a gate in front of it, like a decorative, something that matches maybe the wood.
Of course he is.
So now, in terms of business operations, the facility will open at 8 a.m. and close at 8 p.m. Monday through Friday, and 8 a.m. to 6 p.m. Saturday and Sunday. Since this facility is going to be primarily geared towards children, school children, and special needs children, we've come up with a peak time of operation or period of operation, which would be from 3:30 to 8 p.m. During the week. And then 8 a.m. to approximately 4 p.m. on Saturday and Sunday. So on average, each rotation will have approximately 16 children, but the maximum capacity would be 32. So during a 1 hour and 15-minute period of time, there would be approximately, on average, 32 children at the facility, but on a staggered schedule. So every 15 minutes, there's a changeover.
Can you walk me through that? I saw your chart this afternoon
Yeah.
when I got this email,
Let me go to my chart here.
and I'm trying to understand. So you have 7 lanes, right?
Yes, 7 lanes,
And it's average 2 students per lane, right?
correct.
With a maximum capacity of 4 people. So from 12 to 12:30, you're going to have 4 people in lane 1. Is that correct?
So,
Max.
yeah,
but
so
just-
average 2, maximum 4.
but
yeah.
Let's use the worst case scenario. So,
Okay,
okay. And then from 12 to 12:30, lane 2 is on the same schedule. Okay. And then you move to, so only those 2 lanes are there from 12, and then 12:15, the second 2 lanes go on, right?
that's correct. And then, well, lane 7 also opens. This hour of operation is just an example.
Again, and we discussed that at the work
Yes,
session, really trying to
yes.
understand your business model and how
Right.
again, it has a lot to do with parking, how many people come to your site at any one time. So again, we're just trying to understand your initial schedule and how you plan on utilizing the facility, and trying to figure out, okay, how does this affect the people coming to the facility, and you want them, you don't want a lot of overlap, I guess is the.
Right.
So basically, if I'm looking at this chart, you're going to have 3 lanes start at 12, and then 4 lanes start at 12:15. So it's a 15-minute gap in between the two starting times. Okay.
Correct. And then at lane 7 would have 4. Lane 7 is a
So
larger group.
rotation B, is that the next class?
That's correct.
Okay.
Yes.
So, and I think we had discussed that, right? So lane 1 finishes at 12:30, and lane 1, class B, starts at 12:30. It doesn't give a lot of time for a transition between students, teachers, especially with special needs, and that's why we talked about, I think you need a transition period between classes.
So I mentioned before, well, I don't think I did. So my son is autistic,
Right.
and one of the only, athletic activities that he partakes in is swimming. We take him to Club Fit located in Briarcliff, I believe it is. And what I've noticed is, after working with Mr. Selecchia, is that they do a very similar thing where it's every half hour after the other. So what we do is we get there about 5 minutes prior to.
Right.
And then meanwhile, the other children are entering the pool. He's out, drying room, and then out in about another 5 minutes, 10 minutes top, based on how he wants to handle it.
Any kid, whatever, doesn't
Exactly.
matter.
So yeah, there will be a little bit of an overlap.
Right, and again, that affects the parking analysis, because you'll show up 5 minutes early. I'm going to leave 10 minutes late because my son or daughter or whatever is going to be dilly-dallying, right?
Yeah.
And that's what we have,
Want to speak to it?
the typical
You can't really.
Michael Seleckia.
Hi, Michael.
Hi. You can't really have a 20-minute class, so that's why I, staggered them. If I started every class at 12 o'clock, you could see you would have, you could have 64 kids. That's why I
But that's
did
my
it.
concern, right? My concern is, because we did have this discussion, right, at the work session. So what you've done is you've moved 3 classes at 12 o'clock, and then you moved 4 classes at 12:15, right?
Yep.
So there's a stagger there, right? But I think where the issue compounds itself is the next class, right? Because you still have the kids that are dilly-dallying, to get out of the pool, or whatever. And then you have the next group of kids coming 5, 10 minutes early,
You do. It's pretty automated. They're in and out. That's why we have the whole flow. You get them in and out. But you can't have a 20-minute class.
Oh, no, I'm not
so,
suggesting you have a 20-minute class. I'm suggesting you have, keep a 30-minute class, and perhaps you stagger 5 minutes between classes, 10 minutes between classes. Again, because it will affect your traffic analysis, and again,
it affects the whole structure of the classes, having having them all in the 15s and the 30s. But we can take a look at it.
No, again, I'm trying, we're gonna send this information to our consultants who are gonna do a traffic analysis on your property, right? And based on this proposal, right? And I'm just concerned that potentially, you think you're gonna have 32 people on site, right? And all of a sudden you may have, 48, because people are coming, while the first group of people is still there, right? And it's going to affect your parking analysis, because you got to have 8 staff, you got to have potentially, most people come alone or maybe with a buddy, but I'm going to say most kids will.
Yeah, actually, swim school, it's about 30% take a buddy. So
Okay, so all right, again, I'm just trying to make this work as well as.
so what I'm saying is this 32 would be extremely hard to hit that. But
You will hit that. What are you talking about? You're going to be the only one in Lower Westchester.
I hope.
Okay.
Okay.
So I understand because I had a little bit of a challenge trying to understand this. Okay.
So, so that because I understand the parking obviously everywhere in Tuckahoe is an issue.
Right.
I wanted to just take it upon myself because I know we're going to have the traffic study. I wanted to do an assessment of the parking over a course of 5 consecutive days during the peak times that they would be on operation. In the packets I gave you guys this evening, I don't, no obligation to ask questions about it, you're just seeing it. But so I took, these are all aerial photographs taken with my drone. You did.
I think
They
he went
thought
above
Jersey
400
drones were
feet.
coming in here.
I think he went above 400 feet.
So I did that, and what we found is that this section in particular is grossly underutilized in terms for the village's benefit. That being said, it could be, just as many other businesses in the village use public parking, it could be beneficial to my client as well. So as you can see, going through these photographs at the specific times, it wasn't really until Saturday at 10:42 a.m. where there was 4 cars outside. Before I took this photograph, I noticed that there was a bus with a lacrosse team in it at the hotel. So it could have been a game that they were getting ready for and going to Iona or something. But other than that, there seemed to be about 1 car parked on this section of roadway throughout the course each day, most of which are 0 cars, but for those 5 consecutive days during the peak work
You took these all
hours.
in the afternoon, I see, right?
Well, during the week, we started approximately around 3:30.
Yeah.
And then up until just before 6 p.m.
Okay.
And I wanted to do that because 3:30 is when the children are being released from school and going to their activities. And then 5:30 to 6, that's when all adults are really commuting back from work.
Okay.
So hopefully this would be helpful for the parking.
We'll share this
Yeah.
with our consultant and, but keep in mind also, there's an empty lot across the street.
I know, yes,
It's
and we,
eventually going to be developed and, so they'll take that all into consideration. So this, along with the plans, will be sent to our consultant for their analysis, right? I think you,
yeah. I have to learn how to reduce my file sizes. I will, yeah. Yes, yeah.
okay. So we'll send the parking to the analysis to our consultant. Looking at your parking reconfiguration, I think it's going to be helpful having an in and out. The only concern is, I think parking space number 12 seems a little tight. You need a crab walk to get in there. I think if you just reduce the island a little bit, I think it might help.
That's, I believe we can do that, yes.
Okay. Then as far as the building itself, would it be possible to have a colored version of your design in context to the space there?
Yeah, we're looking to use some LiDAR technology to actually create the entire area
Okay,
for massing model purposes, and then we'll have a separate 3D model to show all of, materials and
okay,
the site, more site-specific items.
okay. Yeah, I think this is a great start, really.
Thank you.
Yeah, I think it's going to be great.
And by the next hearing, we should also have our civil engineering drawings to look at as well.
Okay,
So that's it.
all right. Anybody have any questions of this applicant?
No.
Any questions? No. Okay. Anybody want to learn how to swim? Huh? Okay. All right, so at this point, we'll see you at the next workshop and hope you continue to progress with the project.
I assume we'll open the public hearing at that point.
Yes.
Okay.
Want to do it tonight? Yeah. Okay, so at this point, I make a motion based on our attorney's recommendation to open a public hearing. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Is anyone here this evening to speak on this application? Mr. DeMarco? No? At this point, I make a motion to keep the public hearing open until our next meeting. Can I have a second, please?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Thank
right.
you.
Thank you for your time.
Since we have no other business, I make a motion to close the public hearing. Second, please.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Good night, everyone.